How's everybody?
It can't be bad, can it?
No,
Hanging in there.
that's exactly right. Another good day. Another good day. Where we are here? I don't know what's going on with that.
That's okay. We don't either.
I have no notion what's happening with that. I was going to try to send a reminder email, but everybody knows to use this link for tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, so we've come to the end of the road.
I know.
You're gonna start singing some
How'd
Boys to
we
Men
get
right
here
now?
so
Are
fast?
you going with Boys to Men for us right now? Is that what?
So hard to say goodbye. Is that the one?
We can do that one. That we're end of the road though is the one I thought
Yeah.
you were with. I
End
thought
of
you
the
were going
road. Hard to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's just
Taking
kiss
it
and
back.
say goodbye. What year was that?
Bending knee.
That was that the
Bending knee.
Manhattans that did Let's Just Kiss and Say Goodbye? My wife sits around and tries to stump me on music all the time, top songs from this year or that year or whatever.
I have to admit, Dr. Lamb, that was a little bit before my time. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that one would be. I think that
Boys
one
to Men. Boys to Men was
74.
my high school
Oh, yeah.
experience and college experience. Okay, so
I
you
believe
can
that
go
was
Boys to
it.
Men all day long, but
And then
That's right.
what was it? The one she got it pulled up the other night? Oh, something came up, and one of them something she was watching had Spandau Ballet from '83 when we were dating. Like I wouldn't, that one, and
You're supposed to remember that though if you're dating.
oh, I remember all of them. She's always trying to remember if I remember them, but let's see. Oh, Top Gun, Take My Breath Away, Berlin,
Oh,
Terry
yeah.
Dunn singing lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, at least pick something hard. I mean, this is easy stuff here. At least pick something like, who played guitar on some track, from something back, that matters. I mean, who played slide on the Layla album? Dwayne Allman. I mean, pick something hard.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pick the easy stuff. Pick something hard. But no. One of the things I do with the EDCI ladies when we do the face-to-face residency classes is we're just talking like we are now. And I'll go over to the board when we start the first 601 half, and the 5 largest selling vinyl albums in the world happened in 1976, 76. And I write them all out. They don't know any of them. And we just laugh and go on. But then when we start 603, I said, all right, pop quiz, take out your paper. I want to know the 5 biggest selling albums in each of these genres. Well, we didn't remember that. I said, because it didn't matter. From this point forward, everything I tell you matters, or you're going to lose your house and maybe your freedom. And that's how I start with them, because they're civilians. They don't know anything. They're the curriculum ladies.
Right.
They don't know anything, and they think it's all fun and games. No. No. What we're going to cover now ain't fun and games.
Right.
You're responsible for this stuff. Now, see, that's the thing about curriculum people. They're not responsible for anything. I'm married to one. I love them. I love the EDCI ladies. But they don't understand the great weight and responsibility that comes with being a school leader. And that certain things you can't ignore, you can't forget. You don't have the luxury of forgetting. You better know this stuff, or you better ask somebody.
Right.
And so, all of a sudden the fun and games turn serious. They can't, the pop quiz, well, you didn't remember them because it didn't matter to you. You had no skin in the game.
All right, so 1976, Led Zeppelin. Is that one of them?
Go to 77. All right. What's the 76? We'll do 76. What's the largest selling debut album in the history of vinyl records? Boston. 76. Largest selling live album in history till that time, vinyl, Frampton Comes Alive, Peter Frampton. Largest selling soundtrack from a movie, Staying Alive, the Bee Gees.
Right.
Largest selling album of all time, vinyl, Hotel California, the Eagles.
Right.
And then what was the last one? Largest selling. See, we did soundtracks. We did Now, there's bigger selling albums than all these, but not on that were originally released on vinyl. The reason why it stopped that year, the next year stuff started being released on cassette.
Cassette tapes.
That's correct. So the trick of the question is vinyl albums, largest selling of all time. And there's a reason why none of the bigger ones are after that, because there were none after that. That was the last year. And so soundtrack, debut album, all time, let's see, live album, and there's one more in there somewhere that I tend to forget. But anyway, they've got to, you know, and they, but you do it in a way that they, you know, it's just like you're having a conversation. But later on, and they don't remember any of them because it doesn't matter. But it's metaphor for everything we cover now in law now matters. And you've got to understand that. And so that's kind of my trick on that one. But yeah, that's it. But yeah, me and my teaching partner that retired last year, we used to try to stump one another on music. Something to be on the radio, we'd call the other one, make them identified over the radio. All the obscure stuff. Now he does a lot of the doo-wop stuff from the 40s and 50s. I don't do any of that. I start in the modern era of rock and roll and do it all the way up to maybe, you know, till music kind of went crazy. The vinyl stuff specifically, yeah, I do that, but I do some of the other. But yeah, I
think I read recently that in every generation you have a certain point where like you stop staying current with music.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, as a middle school teacher, I think I pushed way past, I think it's the age 34, something like that. It's kind of where you like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna
you know
that. So
you keep up with it until it no longer makes sense to you or you're of your generation. And so all through the 80s, I think I quit with grunge.
so that's why I was just getting started with grunge. Come on.
I mean, I get Pearl Jam, you know, people like that, Mudhoney, you know, some of the original Seattle stuff. I get that, you know, Jerry Cantrell, and you know, Alice in Chains. I get all that. I never got Nirvana, never understood that. Didn't think it was that good. But after grunge, Pearl Jam I thought was the best of that group, not Nirvana. But after that group, after grunge, then you know you had the new wave of British help, you know, that came kind of simultaneous to that with Priest and Maiden and all those. But after them, when we got to stuff like rap and hip hop, I like if I was going to listen to rap, it'd be the West Coast stuff because it was pretty lyrical. It was actually sounded like music. Most of the East Coast stuff didn't even sound like music to me. And I don't know. Then you switch over to the country genre, you know, the Hat Axe, Garth, and all that bunch. But I, you know, didn't care much for them. Clint Black, Travis Tritt, all of them, Alan Jackson, all that. And then you went into the more modern with Kenny Chesney and Tim McGraw, and then you go to all that. But yeah, you kind of follow different strains through your life. You know, but I always followed people who had talent. That was always important to me, is if you had talent. Billy Joel one time said, you either got to be a virtuoso songwriter, musician, or singer to make it. And I agree with that. Not a big Billy Joel fan, but I agree that two of the three, he was virtuoso piano player and songwriter. Singing, nah, not so much. But you know, for me, the British blues players, Clapton. The only 3-time Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee. I mean, you know, nobody can play like him ever. Now, truth be told, I have a Fender Tweed Twin. I have a custom shop Blackie that costs considerably more than my first new car. But I still don't sound like him. I'm serious as I can be. I've got an R9, which is a reissue 59 Les Paul that costs more than new cars now. I still don't sound like him on the Beano album. When he played with John Mayer and the Blues Breakers, I don't sound like Blackie. I've got a Blackie. I've got a custom shop Blackie. Fender Stratocaster. I've got a custom with the white pick guard. I've got a custom shop. I've got an R9. I've got Marshall stacks. I've got Tweed Twins. I've got a 335. I've got everything. My guitar collection is worth more than most people's houses, and I still don't sound like him. When I'm home, I wear I've seen him everywhere. I saw him, the first time I saw him was in 73 at the Double Door when him and Santana did a set after they played the Coliseum. They did a live set at the Double Door downtown. I saw him on the Cream 40-year reunion at the Albert Hall in London in 2008. I've seen him everywhere in between. He can play, he can sing, he has talent. What I like when it says on the ticket, Eric Clapton will play at 8 o'clock. Eric Clapton plays at 8 o'clock. And when he plays, he just melts your face off. I've never heard anybody can play like him. It's not about speed. He never misses a note ever. But his incredible. His playing is it's otherworldly. When I watch him play live or on video, it's just incredible. Now he's an old grumbly man like me, but now he has talent. There's no denying. And there's a lot of those people that have talent. All right. I think everybody's with us is going to be with us. Thank you for being with us. First thing I want to do tonight, as always, is our stars of the week. Let's see what caught my eye this week. I got it right here. All right. Liz said, got to figure lunch debt into your local budget. That's a good catch, Liz. That's become a big thing, hasn't it? How do schools handle lunch debt? Lunch is federal. They won't let them. Sometimes the district will pay for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And sometimes if you feed them, the school just has to make up the debt. You got to figure out what your district does and make sure you comply with whatever that is, because you don't want to be in the local paper denying kids, keeping them all day and not feeding them. That does not go well for your public image. So that's a good catch. And she was also amazed about how much money how little money the school actually controls. You don't have a lot. So you got to make it. That's the whole point of budgeting. Again, I want to beat that drum. The difference between budgeting and accounting is just keeping up with it, what you can do with it. Budgeting is setting priorities because you don't have a lot. And you got to make what little you have count. Budgeting is not dividing it up equally among everybody. It's about establishing priorities, and they have to be back to your school improvement plan and instruction and learning. Jasmine pointed out we need to be doing more professional development with teachers on school law, and she's absolutely right. A couple of folks made that point. Teachers don't know the law. That's why we stay in trouble all the time. Megan said, reminded us again, public school administrators, especially teachers and administrators, have no private lives. Stay off social media. That's her best advice, and that's good advice. Stay off social media. The only thing I have my wife created Facebook for my Santa Claus pictures. So I can send in, I'm serious, that's it. And it's not, she's the one that keeps that up, but no, nothing. Emmy pointed out that the budget process, whatever that 5-step process you have as a principal, one of them ought to be making sure that your faculty and staff has an opportunity to be heard about their priorities. I think that's a good idea. And Carolina pointed out again, teachers don't get any legal training, and they need buku legal training. Thinking back, did you have a school law class when you were preparing to be a teacher? If you're old enough like I am, you did. But now understanding I didn't come through a traditional education program. So maybe, I don't know people who were education majors, if they got one or not, but I certainly know they don't do law now. The undergraduates at Gardner Webb have no law training whatsoever. And you're like, well, they ought to know to do this or not do that. Well, where did you teach them that? Well, we didn't. And so I think that's a big gap that we ought to be working with our teachers is especially in light of all the stuff now on diversity, inclusion, Title IX, MTSS, EC. We really got to be doing a better job with our teachers. Sometimes they do don't do the right things because they don't know what the right thing is to do. I'll give teachers a pass on that one. We are not training them well at all. We need to do better. Kizzy had a question earlier, and Kizzy I think it was Kizzy had a great question, and I need to cover it again about your competency folios. Make sure to understand, just follow the directions on each one of the, I can close that. Let me get to it. Let me find it here. Yeah. So you don't always have one. Sometimes like on, see, on this one, customer focus, you'll have 2 from this semester, and you could have 3. You definitely would have one from the OMA in the skip, because that's what we covered. So you'd have 2, and if you wanted to do an open-ended, you could knock all 3 of them out this time. But now, like on this one, on communication, neither one of them this semester. So you could do an open-ended or none. Just make sure you follow what I put the directions. I put the directions in right here for you on each one of them. Environmental awareness. If you did your CAP this semester, you could drop one in there because many of you did. If not, open-ended. If not, you're good to go. But the problem is when you wait to the last semester and have all them open-ended ones to do, plus all the ones that go with it, then it's kind of like double work. That's why I said we need to get ahead. Well, I tell you, that 8 weeks in summer till your portfolios are due it just blisters by. It just blisters by, and you got to do the SOP. Now, my gift to you. Let's see. Here's my gift to you. I've made you a template for your SOP. If you follow this, you could knock it out in like 2 hours. Seriously. I tell you exactly what to copy and paste. All right, for the background and information, copy skip task 1, prompt 1, right down the line. For this one, for the first prompt, copy these right here. I've got it right here, everything you need. Now, you may have to go back and edit it a little bit and put some link in narrative. Take you about 10 minutes to copy and paste everything that you need. Don't do a perk chart. Take all your graphic organizers and just stack them. Don't do a perk chart. And then you write these. You know how to write them. That's why I said you could really knock this out in a couple hours. Now, when I say get those sections, just take and copy and paste and go through them and pick out the relevant stuff. You don't need 120 or 30 pages. 60 pages is fine. You don't have to include all that stuff, but that's where you'll find it right there. Don't do a perk chart. That takes forever. Just stack your graphic organizers and say, here's my graphic organizers. I had one this week and they complained about the grade they got. And I said, well, he said, but well, we were told we could use a graphic organizer or a perk chart. I said, that's fine. Problem is you used a perk chart and called it a graphic organizer. What am I supposed to do? I can't go to the state grader and argue that you don't. But am I going to argue that you're an idiot, that you don't know the difference between a perk chart and a graphic organizer? They might take the 3.5 they gave you back and give you a 3 or 2.5. Let's let sleeping dogs lie here. Let's not poke the bear. You know, you're lucky they didn't send it back for revision when you told them you're going to do a graphic organizer and you concluded a perk chart. And I said, and by the way, the perk chart wasn't too good. It just had big ideas on it. It wasn't really much of a perk. So, you know, but for me, the easiest thing to do is if you've used your same graphic organizer all the way through, just stack them on top of one another. Pretty easy. And then if you want to get really industrious, you can take them, break them down and maybe reform them as one based on dates or something like that. I've seen people do that. That's all wonderful. You got time, knock yourself out. If not, just stack them. Just stack them up. We could all do better if we had more time. That's why I said, if you want to do 120 pages and create a whole new perk chart and break them apart and do a whole new graphic organizer, be my guest. But if if you're understanding how short our time is going to be this summer, you'll copy and paste and clean them up a little bit, stack your graphic organizers, and be done. And that's, again, you get to decide. As administrators, we have to determine how much time, how much is enough is enough. I got to ask about one of my doctoral students today over in curriculum instruction, and I said, she's not a school leader. I love her. Problem is, she's a great writer. They said, well, what's the problem with that? She's a great writer. She's never going to finish. She's already up over 200 pages and no end in sight. She don't know when enough is enough. She don't know when to quit. And, she'll write for another year if you let her. At some point, you have to call it, just tell her quit. When your horse dies, get off. When you do this, and you quit. Whatever. Insert bad overused metaphor here. When you're in a hole, quit digging. Well, those are some of the things that we have to determine as school leaders. That's a big part of leadership, is knowing when we've done all that we should do. Not all that we can do, but all that we should do, that we need to move on to other things. That we can't waste our time and hide doing the things that we like to do. We have to get to the things that we should be doing. We all have hides, HIDE. I used to hide at the ball field, cafeteria, gym, wherever. And then curriculum people, they tend to hide in classrooms and don't deal with the parents or the problems, the discipline, or any of those things. I hid everywhere but the classroom. I walked through every day, different classrooms every day, but I didn't sit and just script lessons all the time because there wasn't any value in that. It didn't add any value to the teachers. I mean, we had, content area people that work with them in Charlotte. What value am I going to add? I can teach you the structure of teaching, but after that, you need to be working with your content people. So, figuring out what you need to do and how much time you've got. But, there's a template. I'm telling you, using that one, you can be done in 2 hours. All right, so that's that. Let me get out of this. We've gone through our stars of the day. This old PowerPoint of mine from back in the day, it's got a pretty good litany of sexual harassment and identification and prevention. It maps the law from Title IX and gives some examples. You could spend a little time with that one. It is old. I agree. And remember, it starts on slide. What is that? 28, slide 28 of that presentation. That I always like to trace it back to the original law and work all the way through it and give you the relevant statute, which was from 86. And then there's a lot of cases after that, but that's the watershed one. That's like Leandro for finance. And here's the one for state statutes. This is the one right here, and then the NC statute right there, and then the general statute 115C 407. I've traced it all the way through. I have all the language, the
Dr. Lim,
standards.
are you sharing your screen right now and we don't see it? Or are you just talking through?
No, I'm sharing my screen. Let me go back and reshare it.
I saw it.
Yeah, I could see it.
Oh, I don't know why I didn't see it. There we go.
Okay.
Now I see it. Sorry.
Okay, probably me.
Mhm.
Again, it has all the language. You need to, you need to get familiar with all this language. All this stuff is in our disciplinary data manual as well. It's not laid out like this. And then I've got some scenarios here. That that kind of breaks it down for you. Sexting, and that's anything using the phone to convey any of this stuff, electronic, digital, social media. that's why I said you need to make sure you get most of this stuff is going to be via social media or phone or text, that kind of stuff. You don't have subpoena powers, but the police do. A lot of it is phone based. It comes out of their phone. Talked a little about double standards that, we investigate and prosecute men more than we do women. We a lot of times we don't, not saying we don't, but we give them the benefit of the doubt more than we do men. And one of the things that we found out most specifically in the last 10 years is women are as bad as men. So you shouldn't give, the whole point is don't give anybody a pass just based on something as random as gender. We get into, scenarios like this, and that's why the one that I use is the 15-year-old girl talks about her softball coach. Coaches tend to do stuff and they don't mean a thing in the world about it, but it's not good stuff. One of the things that you've got to kind of coach your coaches about is, I know you love these kids and you spend a lot of time with them and all, but you got, some of this stuff you got to let go. Literally, you got to let go. And I've got some scenarios for you, and this is a pretty good one. Again, females right here. And so got some examples. I got several examples for you here to work through. So it's pretty good. Takes a little while, but it's pretty good. I've got, as you know, I could get rid of that now. Let me go back here. I've got a pretty good video here on Title IX that everybody should watch. Got the Title IX update from 2020. That's right here that basically says that you have to report it and you can't be the one that investigates it now. The one that investigates it can't be the one that does the finding. That's why you got to contact your Title IX person in your school and the police. And it says clearly that that you still got to do both. But this is the modern version where you can't go start an investigation of any kind. That's what this law is about right here. This got updated. You can't do that. But you shouldn't cover it up either, as you know. This one is fairly close to where I am and fairly recent. This is from February 23rd. Long time, women and girls at the high school in Tuscola, not far from here in Haywood County. The principal covered it up. She ended up getting fired, getting sued, getting a big financial. This one is fairly recent. And so this notion, we'll cover it up, we'll handle it in-house. Old time school administrator thought that, we could do things like we used to. No. This one is, this one got charged. This one actually this is when I told you got 2 years and did about 8 months of it. This one got put in prison for not reporting, but she went further. She pressured the 14-year-old girl to recant her statement and then punished her. This is what happened at Butler High School in Charlotte when I had to let the entire administrative staff go as well. They punished the girl, the victim of the rape. They had let him off the first 2 times. The only reason that it came to light the 3rd time was a civilian saw the actual rape occur. The person that was there working on the school board. But they brought the girl in, intimidated her, suspended her for inappropriate sexual behavior, misconduct, or whatever, trying to intimidate her and not to. So that the whole bunch had to go, all the way down to the data manager, all the APs, principal, everybody had to go. And it held up in court, by the way, when they sued us. So same thing here. Now this one, they cited all 3 of them criminally for simply failing to report a student's claim of sexual assaults. So this is kind of new. They didn't punish her or retaliate against her. But they got charged. They've got a civil rights case, a civil case against them. See right here. But they've also got a criminal case against them now. These folks right here. This is from less than a year ago. So under the new Title IX, according to this, you can be charged criminally for simply not. You don't have to do something bad now, malpractice or something criminal like threaten or punish or do something to the. Now, not only will you be charged civilly, these three have been charged criminally for not following up on her allegations of sexual assault. Criminally cited. Failure to report a gross misdemeanor. Yep. Student came and said I was sexually assaulted. They refused to report it. Now they're being charged not only criminally but civilly, but civilly, both. They may lose their house and their freedom, like the lady in Colorado did. But now again, the difference is she did something criminal. These people just didn't report. But now they're being charged. I'm gonna keep my eye on this one and see what happens. See if they're convicted or not. Now, they're dead bang guilty on the civil side. Yeah, that's an easy one on the civil side. But criminal for just not reporting, well, it's going to be a game changer. But I knew this was coming with the change in the law. It said this could happen. So we're going to see what happens with this case. But I don't know. I really can't predict. I think they'll lose. I think they'll lose both. I know they'll lose the civil case. I think they'll lose the criminal case too. Will not go well for them. Here's the Title IX video. It's pretty good little video. It's only about 23 minutes long. You should watch that. That would be a good one to show your faculty if you're a sitting administrator now. That's a really good one to show your faculty. I think that's all that. All right, let's go back here. All this stuff is in our disciplinary data reporting manual. So again, I don't want to belabor the point. I'm a couple minutes where I won't pass where I wanted to be, but this is kind of wrap up night. That sexual stuff, it's so pervasive now because of phones. That's the whole point about the phones. It's mostly. I think it's always the urge has always been there. It's just now because of the availability and every kid's got a cell phone. I think that's what has really propagated it to the point where it's just almost a daily thing to have to deal with. But you got to follow through. If you don't, at best it's going to be civil. At worst, it's going to be civil and criminal charges against you. You got to handle this stuff. You got to make the reports immediately to your Title IX and to your police, and then sit tight till they tell you what to do. All right. And don't try to handle it in house or try to cover it up or intimidate the witness or any of that. And so the last thing is make sure that if you haven't, that you apply for graduation this summer. You got to do that. I don't know when the deadline is, but it's time to apply. I know it's open. So if you hadn't applied for graduation, go ahead and do that. All right. Let me go here. Yeah. Larry made a good point. Yeah. There. All right. I got anything else that I have pulled up for the evening in our kind of quick and dirty review here at the end? I don't think so. I think that's pretty much it. Can y'all think of anything that we need to cover that we've not talked about this semester in all the content and all the areas? Our evidences, I'm very proud of your evidence work. We've got one more who hopefully will be done shortly, finishing up the skip. Most everybody's got to the cap. You've got to, you should be able to, that template, you should be able to knock your SI out pretty easily, finish up your cap, knock out your SI. You know what to do on your competency folio. You should be in good shape for summer. You know, the idea here is you got in to get out, to get a job this fall, if at all possible. You spend a lot of money on this program, and that pains me how much you're having to spend. I wish it was a whole lot less. But you know, the way to get it back is get that job. And we did the interview in town hall. I've done everything I know to get you ready. Tried to make it real in terms of what you'll face every day. Can't do that sitting here on a video screen, but we put you out there and you talk to administrators and we put you in positions this semester that you hadn't been in before. And that starts your learning. And if you'll keep up with those activities during the summer, getting out there, talking to people, finding out, you know, witnessing firsthand, that's better preparation than anything, you know, grumbly old man like me, you know, arguing with clouds out in the front yard. It's better than anything I can do. You know, get out there, and it helps you get known. It gets you in that thought of in that conversation, I guess is what I would say. And some of you are already there. Some of you are already serving in those roles, but it helps get your name out for, you know, eventually you want to be principal. So, you know, AP is not a destination job. It's a, you know, it's just along the way. All right. Questions, comments, things for the good of the group. Yes, Brandon.
So as we continue to work on like the cap, if we didn't finish it all, how do we turn those in? How do we turn those
My
in?
shell, my shell stays open until we start, you know, next semester. I work every day.
Okay, so we just constantly, okay.
Just keep on. I check, I grade every day. I don't stop just at the end of the semester. You just keep right on working. Don't slow down now. Liz, you got one. Go right ahead.
I've got a few. When does the summer semester start?
Starts the week of May the 20th. The official date is the 22nd, but you may have class that Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of that week. And then you get the week of the 4th off, and it finishes the Friday, August the 1st. So there's 11 weeks of time, but we're off for the week of the 4th.
Okay. Are we automatically enrolled in our courses for the summer?
As long as you don't have an AR or academic hold. You shouldn't have an academic hold because this is not your end of your first semester. If you have an AR hold, that's accounts receivable. You will not otherwise your registration rolls right over.
Okay. And is it safe to order the textbooks that are listed in your shell course? There's not going to be updated that we need a newer version.
I'm not updating for summer. I never update for summer. That's the end of our academic year. Gardner-Webb's academic year versus the state's the state does summer, fall, spring, and you finish in June because all reports are due by July 1, just like in the school business. Gardner-Webb's academic calendar is fall, spring, summer. That's why it's 2-0, 2-3, 1-0, 2-0, 3, 2-0, 2-3, 2-0, and then this summer is 2-0, 2-3, 3-0. And you say, well, it's 2024, not 23, but they started and then they just counted as a 10, 20, 30. So what that means is I don't ever change textbooks until the fall.
Okay.
So you need the Northhouse book, the Strength Finder book. Again, the Strength Finder is, I like it because it has the personal assessment. You pay the same if you just buy the assessment, get the book. And then there's probably a Glickman book. There's always a Glickman book in a leadership course for supervision. So yeah, Glickman, Northhouse, and then I like that Strength Finder where you can do you can do your own assessment of your leadership strengths. I like that.
Can I keep going with questions?
Yeah.
So let's say on our resume, we're applying for jobs. We would say our anticipated graduation is
August 1st, 2024.
Okay.
You'll graduate, just won't be a ceremony until December.
Right. Okay. Use the end of semester date when all the grades are done. Okay. And if we submit things, I think it's what Brandon asked, if we submit things for the CAP through your shell course, we need to submit them a second time for our next instructor to grade?
No, no.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.
Yep. They'll just give you the points. Just tell them you've already submitted it. They'll look in task stream and see it, and then you just get the points.
Okay.
Don't-
Meaning we have to submit all of the CAP and final for task stream?
Well, you
For-
will eventually. I mean, whether you do that in mine or theirs, I mean.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if we needed to do it by a certain date if we're still in the spring semester. No, we can do half of it with you, the other half finish up with them, and then we go to task stream and they'll be good with it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Easy peasy. Thank you. Other questions? Let's see. I don't think I've got, Liz is back again. All right.
I'm back again. So I'm trying to plan out my internship supervision hours for the summer. Are there certain things that we need to account for? I know in this semester, we were looking for like a lot of budget things, MTSS, attend an IEP meeting. Is there a list for the summer semester that we could start thinking about?
No, because sometimes you just got to go and stay a couple of weeks. But what you really would like to focus on for the summer is the master schedule, if at all possible.
Okay.
That's the heart of the school. Now, you know, the two cornerstones of your school are your master schedule and your budget. Do they support the school improvement plan? And the budget's already done. There won't be anything about budget this summer. If there is, if you can set in, that's great. But you know, spring is budget season. It's already over. But summer is master. You know, they do a preliminary, but summertime is master schedule season. You start making, because you have to go back and revisit it because new faculty, retirements, people coming and going, and all that business. Budget's already set.
Okay.
Master schedule's not. So if you can spend time, you know, just don't sit and answer the phone, you know. But you know, you just got to scrabble around in the summertime and figure out where you can get hours. Sometimes you just have to go stay a week or two and just, you know, get 8 or 9, 10 hours a day. Whatever the administrators are doing. But remember, when July comes, that first week they'll be on vacation, holiday vacation, and they'll book theirs right behind it. You may not see anybody till close to August. So don't depend on getting only any hours in July. I hate to say that, but you better, you know, you better be realistic about it. You can get hours at other schools. You can go to the central office and get hours. You can go to the bus garage. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening in the summertime in the school district that you'd be good practice for you to know if you've made some contacts, like when you went to HR. And, you know, there's some things that you can do in the summertime, but it really should be around budgets. Excuse me. It really should be around master schedules, duty rosters, that kind of thing. The actual scheduling part of school, that would be good. If you can set in on teacher interviews this summer, HR, that's kind of number 3.
Can we start counting hours as of like May 5th or so? Can we start building up
As
some?
soon as you wrap up your log for this spring, you can start now.
Okay, just making sure.
If you need to.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Because I know you're not going to get any hours in June. In that whole last month in July, you're not going to get any hours. You got to get them in April, May, June.
And what is the total number for summer again? We're looking to get 100 for summer too?
100. That's why I said if you go over there a couple of weeks, you can knock that out in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
You can knock it out in a couple of weeks. But yeah, you know, what I tell people is try to knock it out. And then if you get some other opportunities, that's just gravy. But what I worry about is if you're waiting for them better opportunities to come along and they don't, we kind of get over a barrel there. But yes. But don't just hang around the office and answer the phone. that's kind of a waste of your time. No, you know, make this work for you. Get some value out of it for yourself. You're paying after all. You ought to get value. All right. I'll close with a song from the movie that was filmed right outside my door here. Anybody know the movie Dirty Dancing with Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey? It was filmed right outside the door here at the resort where my condo is here at Rum & Ball at Lake Lure. You remember the song that ended it? I've had the time of my life. I've never felt this way before. I swear it's the truth. I owe it all to you. That's it for me then. I appreciate you. I really do. As I said, summer school will start back the week of the 20th. C2 group, y'all will be with, who will y'all be with? The C2 group this summer. You'll be with Dr. Anita Sanders. I don't know what day she teaches, and with Dr. Lisa Barnes. Dr. Lisa Barnes is one of my original doctoral students from back in the day, from back in the aughts in Charlotte, Mecklenburg. She's an executive director there now. She's like my, don't tell her I said this, she's like my oldest daughter. Never say old with a woman, but she knows that. But she's my favorite. You'll meet her this summer, and she's my absolute favorite. We've been working together for over 20 years. I still remember her just being a youngster. I can't, every time I see her now, she still looks young to me. But I love her dearly. You'll get to work and meet her this summer. Her name is Dr. Lisa Barnes. She's executive director in Charlotte Meck. Her dissertation is still the most awarded dissertation in Gardner Webb's history. But we had $250,000 to do it, so it should have been pretty good. I was in charge of the money. That was before I worked at Gardner Webb. I was still in the central office in CMS. We spent $250,000 evaluating our program. She wrote her dissertation out of it. It's a monster. We just kind of showed off everything you can do in one. But she's great. She's a great coach. You'll love working with her. She has some good stories to tell too. Dr. Sanders is full-time faculty at Gardner Webb. I've been working with her for a long time as well. You will enjoy them. They have a different perspective. You need different perspectives. I'm just a grumpy old white man. That's all I can be. You'll get a different perspective from two minority ladies, and I love that. I love that. They have a different perspective on life than I do, and there needs to be some sort of a balance there. I don't want to make it out to be a racial thing, but you need diverse experiences as well. Diversity is here to stay. I believe Brandon said that. I believe Brandon wrote that diversity is here to stay. You better embrace it. That's the whole notion here. Is if you have to spend we're going to the other side. You know, two African American ladies after you had to spend a semester with me. So you will enjoy yourself this summer. It will round out your experience. All right, we got done one time early all semester. And we still went 20 minutes. I told you we'd do. I told you it'd be 30 minutes, but you knew it was going to be 30 minutes.
We thought about music for 10, so that was
That's right.
Love you, mean it. I'll see you again soon. Thank you all. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Dr. Lamb.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.